I sent $10,000 to cover my sister's baby shower, then got a message, "You're not invited, just send a gift." My mom added, "Honestly, you can't buy your way into this family." I just smiled, pulled my name from the trust fund, and canceled her new SUV's lease. By morning, my phone exploded, and they showed up at my door, banging on the glass. For me, that moment hit like a freight train, and it all started with my sister Sarah's baby shower. Sarah has always been the golden child, the one my parents doted on like she hung the stars. I, on the other hand, ended up playing the role of the reliable older brother, the one who always had to have his life together so the rest of them could afford to fall apart. I was the one who bailed my brother out of debt when he got hooked on sports betting in college. I covered our parents' mortgage for 6 months when Dad's business went under, and yes, I even helped fund Sarah's lavish wedding where she acted like a bridezilla in a tiara. So when my mom called me last month, her voice dripping with carefully rehearsed gratitude, I knew what was coming. "Robert, you know Sarah's baby shower is coming up, right? She really wants it to be special. You know how much this means to her," she said. I leaned back in my chair, staring at the pile of spreadsheets on my desk. I knew where this conversation was headed. My family had a way of turning emotional guilt into financial leverage, and I'd fallen for it too many times. But still, I said, "All right, just let me know what you need." 2 days later, I wired $10,000 to cover the venue, catering, and whatever else Sarah deemed necessary to impress her yoga mom friends. I figured it would buy me a little piece, maybe a sliver of appreciation. After all, it was my sister's first baby. This was supposed to be a family moment, but then, 2 days after the transfer, I got a message from Sarah. "Hey, thanks for the contribution. Just wanted to let you know we're keeping it small, so you're not invited. Just send a gift." I had to read it twice. It felt like a slap. I started typing a response, but before I could hit send, my phone buzzed again. It was my mom. "To be honest, Robert, you can't bite your way into this family." I sat there, staring at my phone, feeling my blood turn to ice. It was such a casual, cutting thing to say, but it hit me like a gut punch. I'd been the one propping them up for years, paying for their crises, covering their mistakes, and letting them walk all over me, thinking one day they'd finally see my worth. But this was the moment I realized they never would. I closed my laptop, leaned back, and took a deep breath. I felt something shift inside me. I wasn't angry, not really. I was just done. I opened my banking app, removed my name from the trust fund I'd set up for Sarah's baby, which I'd planned to start funding next month. Then I called the dealership and canceled the lease on the shiny new SUV my mom had been driving. I had co-signed for it because her credit was shot, and she promised to handle the payments. Well, those promises meant nothing now. I didn't stop there. I called my lawyer to discuss selling the lake house, the one my parents loved to borrow every summer without asking, where they'd invite their friends and trash the place like it was a beach rental. They never paid a dime for its upkeep, never even bothered to refill the propane for the grill. I'd finally had enough. I sat back and let the silence settle around me. I didn't bother texting them back. I just let it all hang in the air. The next morning, my phone exploded with missed calls, furious texts, and increasingly desperate voicemails. Then, just as I was sipping my coffee, there was a thunderous banging on my front door. I smiled, leaned back in my chair, and took another sip. I could see my mom and sister through the glass panel beside my front door. Sarah had her arms crossed, visibly seething, while my mom's face was a mix of panic and outrage. They were pounding so hard on the glass, I half wondered if they planned to break through like a couple of suburban zombies. I let them stew